I basically work behind the scenes to keep everything on time, on budget, and make sure everybody has what they need.
And why is project management important?
Project management is important because it gives everybody a little bit of stability. So you know, when there's so much going on, it's nice to have project management. So people are like, I know what I need to do and when I need to do it and when it needs to be done by, and somebody is going to kind of hold me accountable for that so that I don't have to always keep my eye on my schedule. I can focus on the work more.
I was talking with a guy this week, and he said, "Hey, I checked out your staff page. I was happy to see you have project management." And I said, "Yeah, how would we function without it? I mean, can you imagine how we
Yeah.
would run without it?"
No, I can't. And I mean, I remember when I started, you guys didn't even have account management. And so it's crazy to see that, like, not only did we start as like hybrid account project, but we've moved into actually separating those. So it's been really nice for everybody to kind of be able to focus on their strengths.
Yeah, you started in the early days when we were trying like so hard to keep the layers between the client and us like to a minimum. But at a certain point, you get to that size where you just definitely need like that discipline of project management, and people can really focus. So it's been a
Absolutely.
big improvement, I think.
Yeah, well, good. Well, I'm glad you guys like us.
Yeah.
Keep us around.
What do you think? What do you think are clients looking for when they meet us, when they're talking to us? What do you think are some of the things that they're hoping that they're gonna, or maybe even some of the fears that they're like, man, I hope this isn't the case.
I feel like the biggest fear clients have is not trusting an agency, like being worried about kind of being played or just being like us being salesy to them. So I think when they feel that they can trust us and when they have a partner in us versus just a vendor, that would be the biggest benefit that we could give to them. So I think that is what I would say is their biggest fear, is not being able to trust the agency, and their biggest benefit is being able to trust their agency and know that we have their best interest at heart. Because I also think that feeds into better work. So when they actually trust us to do our jobs, then we'll make sure to give them the best result.
Yeah, I think a couple of the things most of our clients are thinking about is, what's the quality of the work and the output? Is this my team, or am I going to get switched around or something like that? But then the other thing is, I think they've all had experiences where things went over budget or missed deadlines, and like that's your role, right? Like you
Yeah.
keep us on budget, you keep us on our timelines, making sure we don't miss that stuff. And it always feels good in my shoes whenever I'm talking to a new client and they're looking at deadlines, and I know what they're thinking. Like, are they going to hit this? I'm like, we hit deadlines because I have
Yes.
so much confidence in you and Bailey and Jackie and keeping us keeping us straight.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's the beauty of it, is that you do what you can to make sure that you can get things done. And then also being able to be realistic with the client of like, in order to give you the best results, we might need to do a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that. And do we want to bend and flex? And how can we make this work for you and get you to the best result in the end?
Yep.
And so that's our job, is to try to work with the team to make sure you guys get what you want for the client, and that we can schedule everybody accordingly and make that happen.
So before you came to Native, what was your favorite job, your favorite gig?
My internship at Warner Brothers. That was pretty cool. That was cool.
Why do you say Warner Brothers?
Well, LA is just a very interesting place. And when you're working in the movie industry, it's just overwhelming and it's just so fascinating. So I loved working there because honestly, the cool things that I got to do on a day-to-day basis, just whether I'm putting together, organizing press junkets, running the press junkets, running to go get a toothbrush and yogurt for a celebrity. It was a very fun experience for me, because I just got to do all sorts of weird things, and every day just looked different. So I just really enjoyed that. It was kind of nice to have a taste of the West Coast life, and especially that industry, because I think that the entertainment industry is really cool.
That's cool. I was talking to I've asked that same question to everybody, and I've noticed that some people in account or PMs have talked about when they worked at a restaurant,
Yeah.
and I was saying, yeah, food service is a great experience for a lot of people, especially for account service or project management. And I know you did that too, right? Like in high school, didn't you work food service?
Yes, I worked for a Mexican restaurant, Rancho Grande Cantina, for 10 years. And then I worked for Harpo's in Colombia when I went to school there. And that would probably be my second favorite gig because that was just fun. It was
Yeah.
fun.
But we were talking about how like dealing with customers like that is like great preparation for like account management or project management, and just understand how to keep people happy, anticipate needs, all that type of thing, right?
Very true. It 100% correlates into the skills of an account and project manager. You have to be able to deal with the different types of personalities of any customer that walks through the door, and anticipating needs, to your point, is so important, and it's going to give you a better tip for sure.
So you've been in project management at a handful of shops. How would you say we approach it compared to other places you've been? Is it the exact same? Are there differences in the way we approach it? What do you think?
I would say project management at Native Digital, I am more hands-on with the full team. At the other agencies, they were larger, so it was a lot easier to be siloed as the project management team. So it was more being handed things to figure out. I've enjoyed being a part of the problem-solving process at Native and being able to work with the AM, the client strategist, actually every department really, to figure out what the best solution to the project management issue we might run into is. So I really enjoyed being able to work with the team very closely.
Do you think that comes through in the work, or is it just, something that you enjoy as part of your role?
I think it comes through in the work for sure. Making sure that the team has everything that they need and that all the right questions are being asked, whether that is internally or to the client, just 100% makes for better work. Because if you don't make sure that everybody has what they need, then you get into the situation where the work is lacking, and then maybe you find out something later that you're like, well, that would have been good to know, or wish we had dug a little deeper into this. So I think working so closely as a team.
I feel like it prevents that game of telephone that we've all experienced, where
Yes,
you get something assigned to you and you're like, what is this? What did the client ask for? I don't know. Just it's due tomorrow. Just, get it done,
just do it.
and,
Yeah, figure
and
it out.
you're just doing things that don't quite make sense. So I think we've cut out some of those shaky handoffs in the way we are approaching it right now,
Yes, I agree. 100%.
which is nice.
That is very nice. Makes my
And
job
both,
easier.
there's fewer arguments or like strange conversations about like, what are we doing?
Oh yeah, if like avoiding all of that confusion and then also avoiding the blame game, it builds our trust as a team internally, and then of course results in better work.
which is why we all still kind of like each other, probably.
Exactly. It's why everybody loves each other, which I'm sure everybody's answer in the Q&A was to why they like working at Native is going to be like everybody I work with, my coworkers.
It basically has, yeah. I mean, it's the people, right? And that's pretty much what everybody says.
It makes work, coming to work a lot better when you love who you're working with, for sure.
Yeah. Several people have said, I don't even, it's like, I like coming in and sometimes it's hard driving away. And I'm like, wow, that's like not very many people can say that about work.
Absolutely. That's awesome. And true. Whenever we have our happy hours, I'll be like, yeah, I'll be home probably around like 5:30. We're just all hanging around talking. And then like at 6:15, and Brian's like, when are you coming home? Like, when are we eating dinner? I'm sorry. We all got to talking and I didn't want to leave.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jess, you've been with us for a while. How have you seen us change since your day one? Because a lot has changed.
Man, obviously the size of the full team has, I think, tripled since I started, which is crazy. Um, so I think, man, really the size has changed, and obviously our structure. So the people that I'm talking to on a day-to-day changes. Like now I have account management, an account manager who I'm working with every day. Well, in the past it was, just me, just Shelby, just Olivia, and we were the team running that client, and that's it. There was nobody else. Well, now there are uh, a lot more departments, a lot more disciplines at play, which obviously we get to offer more services because of that, which is great. So I would say now I'm just getting to work with a lot more people in a different way. And my day to day, really, as busy as it can be, is, less chaotic, for less lack of a better word. We're all flying by the seat of our pants when we're so small, and scrappy is probably the better word. And now we just have a super well-rounded team, and everybody is able to touch different clients, different projects. And I still get to talk to everybody every day, but it's more people, and it's in a more structured way based on how we have structured each department.
Do you think be honest on this, do you think the work is as good as it used to be? Do you think it has improved? Do you think it's suffered? What about the culture?
Well, I don't think our culture has suffered. The culture that's our number one best quality about Native, probably. I mean, our work is wonderful. And it's probably easy for me to say when I'm not the creative or on like the departments putting the work out necessarily. But I don't know if I would say the work has suffered. You could say that when you're scrappy and you're able to put in just hours and hours and hours on things versus when you're a little bit bigger and have a lot more clients going on. But I still see our team always, always ask, is this the best thing for the client? Can we go back and push back on the client? Because we don't actually think this is the best direction. So we're not order takers. We are good at our jobs and have always prioritized putting out the best work. So I wouldn't say that it suffered. And I think the addition of the performance marketing team has given us even this cooler edge where we're delivering these super, objective results. It's not as subjective as creative. You can see the results of the work that we're putting in, the money that we're making the client. So I wouldn't say the work has suffered. I'd say it's evolved.
Yeah, I think the day we start to see that maybe we've grown to the point and the work starts to suffer, like we will pull back as fast as we need to because
Yeah.
yeah, I would say the work. I think the work we were doing in the early days obviously was strong. Otherwise, we wouldn't have grown, right?
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
but we found ways to bring in some expertise and then quickly kind of reshuffle and shape the org chart to where I feel like the work has stayed the same caliber. We just approach it differently with different people now. Some would argue the work is better. I think it is more well-rounded for sure. Um,
Yeah. There's a lot more, when you could say that more cooks in the kitchen are a bad thing, but it's also nice to have a lot of smart people in the room when work is being done. So,
I agree. I mean, we sat through a show and tell, yesterday, and you're looking at
yeah.
that work, and you're just like, man, this is pretty good. We did that.
I didn't know about
It's a
either of
good
those
feeling.
projects. And I would thought that I went and looked at like the hotel Kansas City's like actual Instagram, and they really implemented it. I was very impressed by the work, and I was like, this is so cool. Like I didn't know this was even happening. So that was
Yeah.
exciting.
When you think about, you know, the past few years being here, what are some of the favorite stories that you have that you like share with your friends or family or think about most often?
Um, One of the Crossroads Hotel, I still haven't stopped talking about that one. I'm like, you guys want to go get drinks there? It's like, look at this menu, this logo. You see that? The names of these restaurants, I like to just, I wouldn't even say low key brag. I'm straight up bragging to all my friends and family when we go there. I signed my marriage license there with Brian. We took pictures there before our Kansas City reception. That place is, I'm just really proud of Native, and I'm proud that I got to be an account manager on it when it was going through. And then touring the building when it was under construction was so cool. And going to the grand opening, we just got to be there at a lot of set. And I was only there really at the tail end of it. So the full team that was on it from the beginning probably has even more cool stories. And another one would probably be AdWars. I thought AdWars was so fun. It was a time for us to showcase Native Digital as an agency in Kansas City, but just also cut loose and have fun and be weird. That video is still one of my favorite things. I think I watched it like 100 times because I thought it was hilarious. And I cannot believe we did it one take. And they kept telling us, we can do it again. Probably if we mess it up, we can do it again. And I'm like, no, we couldn't have. That was a one take situation. It's like, you were lying to us. And luckily it honestly went off without a hitch and was super cool and hilarious. So, and then that was a fun night just hanging out and drinking with the team. So
AdWords was so much fun, and
yeah.
they put us, because we were like the lead sponsor, they put us at that front table.
Yes.
And then our video played, and I'm like, as soon as the video played, I'm like, everybody in this room probably hates us right now. Like, we are that annoying.
Like, they're not even taking it seriously.
We're like annoying, obnoxious new guy in town who's like, who do they think they are, doing that type of thing. So I don't know. It was a lot of fun though.
I assume we got a pretty good, I feel like I had people coming up and saying that it was funny, and it could go either way. They could think new guy in town, or they could think refreshingly real. So did not mean to stick one of our taglines in there from a client.
Well, I think if you're a leader at an agency, you're probably like, oh, I hate these guys. If you're looking for a job, you're like, that looks like fun.
Sure. That's a very good point.
Yeah. Yeah. No, AdWords was a great time. I forgot about that one.
That was fun.
So, where do you think we'll be in the next 5 years? We hit our 5th anniversary during quarantine. Any predictions on, or what you hope we'll look like in 5 years?
And we'll be moved into our new office, obviously completely settled. I assume we will have filled that out a little bit more. I'm interested to see if our departments change any more than they are, if we just continue to move in the direction that we're in right now. If I were to make guesses, I would say that I think that we will probably keep this structure and then just build upon it. And then obviously, we might have to add more, of course, with more people. So my biggest prediction would be size. When it comes to the work, I assume we'll be taking on even bigger clients when we have more bodies and more talent. So I'm kind of excited to see what we're able to do as we grow. But the new office is the thing I'm most excited about in a lot of ways. And I love our little office, and I've loved watching the team grow. But the new office is going to be really cool. So
I walked by the building today. They got the windows up, so that's exciting.
Oh, that's so exciting. I know I was at Messenger a couple of weeks ago and they did not have the windows up, and I was like, oh, dang it. But the windows, so that was the big step, wasn't it? That's
yeah.
Good.
Yep. That's a big step.
Get in it.
Well, it's cool. Whenever I'm interviewing people, a lot of times they will ask the person next to me, why do they work at Native? And if someone was to ask you that right now, how would you answer that question?
I work at Native because, I've really seen it, in its evolution over the last 3 years, which it's evolved in a lot of ways. But the reason I've always loved working at Native is because of the people that we've hired. So the people that we have chosen to surround ourselves with in this office, we don't have any egos, which is super important because those can be detrimental and they can ruin everybody's day. So not having egos here and just having a whole bunch of team players makes every day a joy to work with. So if I were to describe everybody that I work with, I would just say that they are hilarious, smart, talented, and kind. And that's really, I think, all you can ask for in a coworker in a lot of ways. So I started working at Native because of the opportunity. I was like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to just get in at a company where I trust the people that have started it. Let's just see where this goes. Let's see if it works out and what happens. And here we are 3 years later, tripled in size, and I still love all of my coworkers. We haven't grown into a situation where, you have a few bad apples because you're just so big. So I would say that I love Native because of the people.